Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be dealing with some frequently asked questions about Subclass 482 Skills in Demand Visa. And with me today is Mohammed. How are you going?
Good, how about you?
Yeah, going well. So Mohammed, what is a Subclass 482 Skills in Demand Visa?
Subclass 482 Skills in Demand Visa is an employer-sponsored visa. So if any employer in Australia cannot find a suitable worker for his business in Australia who is Australian citizen or permanent resident, then he can employ an overseas citizen or a migrant living in Australia. So this is a great opportunity for employers. The government wants to help the employers to fulfill their employment requirements so that the business can run smoothly. So this is for that reason this visa has been in place.
Okay. So do I need an employer to sponsor me for a 482 visa?
Yes, of course. 482 visa has 3 stages. First one is sponsor, second nomination, and the third is visa application. So anyone who wants to apply for a 482 visa must have a sponsor at first. So without sponsorship, he cannot apply.
Okay. And which occupations are eligible for a 482 visa?
So 482 visa has different occupations. There is one which is called core skills occupation list. Another one is specialist skills occupation list. Another list for labor agreements. So basically there are 3 lists. So if someone wants to apply for a chef, it is in the core skills stream. So different streams, different occupations.
Okay.
So most of the occupations are in the core skills stream.
Great. And do I need a skills assessment?
Yes, this is very important. For most of the occupations, you don't need a skills assessment. For some occupations, you need a skills assessment. Those occupations are mentioned in a legislative instrument.
Okay. And what English score is required for a 482 visa?
Yes, for 482 visa, minimum English requirement is S5 or equivalent. It can be PTE or any other equivalent test.
Okay.
So they have to have minimum IELTS 5 or equivalent level of English. Like if someone has 5 years of study in the secondary or higher secondary level in English or mostly in English, then he may be qualifying for that.
Okay. Is there a salary that an employer must offer for a 482 visa?
Yes, there is a minimum salary requirement. That is $79,380. That is annual market salary rate. So below that amount, an employer cannot pay. This is the minimum requirement. An employer can pay more, but this is the minimum requirement.
Okay. And does the employer need to advertise the position before nomination?
Yes. In most of the cases, unless there is an exemption, like it is called international trade obligation, there are some exemptions for that. But otherwise, if there is no trade agreement, then the employer has to advertise. It is called LMT, labor market testing. The employer has to prove that he did not get any employee in Australia who is Australian citizen or permanent resident. So for that purpose, he has to advertise at least for 28 days in 2 channels.
Okay. And can a small business sponsor a 482 worker?
Yes, even a small business can sponsor a 482 worker, but remember, as like sole traders, they cannot sponsor anyone. It has to be a company.
Okay. And can I apply for a 482 visa while I'm already in Australia?
Yes, you can apply while you are in Australia if you have a substantive visa, or if you are a bridging visa A, B, C, then you can apply for 482 visa. Unless there are some other restrictions like no further stay condition is there, then you can apply.
Okay. And can I include my partner and children in my 482 visa?
Yes, you can include, or you can include later also. That is called subsequent entrant. So you can include it with your initial application or later as well.
Okay. And what happens if I lose my job while holding a 482 visa?
So here in that case, you have 180 days. That means 6 months. Within 6 months, you have to manage another business who will nominate you, and then you can move to that business. So within 180 days, you have to move
Okay,
it.
so I can change employers while on
Yes.
a 482 visa? Yeah. And can I change occupations while on a 482 visa?
Yes, in some cases you can change occupations, but you have to have relevant work experience as well. Without work experience, you cannot apply for nomination. So if you change occupation, then you have to apply for nomination and new visa as well. Otherwise, if you change the employer, you don't need a new visa, but you need a nomination. But in this case, you need a new visa as well. So changing occupation is really difficult.
Okay. And can a 482 visa lead to permanent residency?
Yes, there is a scope of permanent residency from 482 visa to 186, which is employer nomination scheme. So this is called transition stream, TRT stream. So if you work on a 482 visa for at least 2 years, then you can transition to permanent residency through that stream, like TRT stream of 186 visa.
And is there any age limits for the 482 visa?
For 482 visa, the good news is there is no age limit. Anyone can apply at any age.
Okay. Who pays the sponsorship, nomination and SAF levy costs?
Yes, this is important. Only the employer can pay all these things, the nomination, staff levy or related costs to nomination, sponsorship. If the employee pays for this, then it will not be approved. The nomination will be cancelled or the visa will be cancelled later if the department finds that. So it is the employer's responsibility to pay all these things.
Okay. And what are the most common reasons for a 482 nomination or visa application fail?
So in most of the cases, this visa fails if the applicant or visa applicant does not have the required skills and qualifications. So in many cases, we have seen the business has got the sponsorship, has got the nomination approved, but the visa stage is depending on the applicant's skills and qualifications. So if he cannot prove that he has the required skills and experiences for that occupation, then the visa will be refused. Also, it can be refused in the nomination stage if the business has no financial viability, then it can fail also. And in the sponsorship stage, if the business is not lawfully operating in Australia, then the business cannot be a sponsor. So there are stages. Final stage is visa. The visa can be refused for many reasons, but the main reason is this one, if he fails to meet the qualifications requirements or experience requirements.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that information. It's really enlightening. If you have any issues with the 482 visa, please contact Melton Migration.
Thank you, James.
Thank you very much.